Welcome back to another episode of the Hermit Poetry Series. I'm Neil Aitken, and on this channel I read poetry, mostly work by contemporary poets, occasionally poems of my own, and once in a while poems from the past. Today's poem comes to us from Larry Levis from Winter Stars, published by University of Pittsburgh Press in 1985. This is midway through the collection, and I seem to be fond of choosing poems about middle of the collection. That's a whole different discussion, but in any case, here we go. My story in a late style of fire. Whenever I listen to Billie Holiday, I'm reminded that I, too, was once banished from New York City. Not because of drugs or because I was interesting enough for a wan, overworked patrolman to worry about. His expression, usually a great gauzy spiderweb of bewilderment over his face. I was banished from New York City by a woman. Sometimes, after we had stopped laughing, I would look at her and see a cold note of sorrow or puzzlement go over her face, as if someone else were there, behind it, not laughing at all. We were, I think, in love. No, I'm sure. If my house burned down tomorrow morning, and if I and my wife and son stood looking on at the flames, and if then someone stepped out of the crowd of bystanders and said to me, "Didn't you once know?" No. But if one of the flames, rising up in the scherzo of fire, turned all the windows blank with light, and if that flame could speak, and if it said to me, "You loved her, didn't you?" I'd answer, hands in my pockets, yes. And then I'd let fire and misfortune overwhelm my life. Sometimes, remembering those days, I watch a warm, dry wind bothering a whole line of elms and maples along a street in this neighborhood until they're all moving at once, until I feel just like them, trembling and in unison. None of this matters now. But I never felt alone all that year, and if I had sorrows, I also had laughter, the affliction of angels and children, which can set a whole house on fire if you'd let it. And even then, you might still laugh to see all of your belongings set you free in one long choiring of flames that sang only to you, either because no one else could hear them, or because no one else wanted to. And mostly because they know that such music cannot last, and that it would tear them apart if they listened. In those days I was in fact already married just as I am now, although to another woman. And that day I could have stayed in New York. I had friends there. I could have strayed up Lexington Avenue or down to 3rd and caught a faint glistening of the sea between the buildings. But all I wanted was to hold her all morning, until her body was again a bright field, or until we had reached some thicket, as if at the end of a lane, or at the end of all desire, and where we could therefore be alone again, and make some dignity out of loneliness, as mostly people cannot do. Billie Holiday, whose life was shorter and more humiliating than my own, would have understood all this, if only because in her late addiction and her bloodstream's hallelujahs she too sang often as some affair or someone gone and therefore permanent, and sometimes she sang for nothing. Even then, it isn't anyone's business if she did. That morning, when she asked me to leave, wearing only that apricot-tinted fringed chemise, I wanted to stay, but I also wanted to go. To lose her suddenly, almost for no reason, and certainly without any explanation. I remember looking down at a pair of singular tracks made in a light snow the night before, at how they were gradually effacing themselves beneath the tires of the morning traffic, and thinking that my only other choice was fire, ashes, abandonment, solitude, all of which happened anyway, and soon after, and by divorce. I know this isn't much, but I wanted to explain this life to you, even if I had to become, over the years, someone else to do it. You have to think of me what you think of me. I had to live my life, even its late, florid style. Before you judge this, think of her, then think of fire, its laughter, the music of splintering beams and glass, the flames reaching through the second story of a house, almost as if to mistakenly rescue someone who left you years ago. It is so American, fire, so like us, its desolation, and its eventual brief triumph. That was Larry Levis, My Story in a Late Style of Fire, from Winter Stars. If you enjoyed this reading and this poem, please like this video. And read the description for more information about this poet and where to find his work. Levis is no longer with us, but his work still is, and his poetry is gorgeous and highly recommended. So please do take a moment to check that out. If you enjoyed this series, please subscribe and check back often. Hit the little bell button and you'll be notified every time there's a new episode up. I put new content up every Tuesday, Thursday, and Sunday. I also take suggestions and recommendations. If there are poets or poems that you would like to hear on this channel, please let me know, and I'll do my best to work it into the schedule. And in general, I'm grateful that you are here as part of this broader community of poets, and I hope you're enjoying these videos, as well as finding opportunities in your own life to read, to explore, to write, to create, and to share. And if this has been hopefully a good experience for you, I hope that you continue to share it with others that you come in contact with. And until next time, this is the Hermit Poetry Series, and I'm Neil Aitken, and I'll be back again soon. For all of you, I wish you all the very best. Be safe, be healthy, and be anxiously engaged in doing things that bring about a better world, bring communication and empathy and beauty into the world. So until then, I'll see you again soon. Bye.